So I get to hang out with my grandma today. That's pretty cool. She's going to take me to some places here in town that she's had some experiences at, and we're just going to film it. So that's what we're doing. How you doing?
I'm not doing too.
Well, here, I'm like a master at this. Where's the thing?
You're like a master at it.
Totally. Oh, wait, let go. Let go.
Right.
I don't think it's adjustable.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on.
Grandma, why don't you take us to where you were born? Let's go.
I was younger, you know.
So this is the place. This is the backside.
Yep.
But which part was it when you were here? This front part?
Most of this was here. Part of it from over on the south side was new. They did that in for a while.
So this used to be the grand entrance, huh?
Yep, it used to be.
I bet there's still stuff in there.
I don't know.
There's a big branch right
They
there.
had, they used it over the years, and then, when they decided that they were putting everything together, you can see it's all messed up.
Yeah, like the floors on the right there. I could see.
Yep, it's really messed up.
What year were you born?
I was born in 47.
Oh.
And your Aunt Tina was born here in 63. Very pretty. They kept it up to par.
It used to be.
This part over in here was newer. You used to go, when you had to go to the emergency room, they used to be over here on the north side of the street. And then just before they closed it, they had redone part of this, and this was their new way for going in.
Oh, so
you
this
would pull in here, and then there's the door over there. And back out over.
So that's that's where the emergency used to be.
Yeah.
How long has this thing been empty, you think? It's like 5 years, 10 years probably.
No, about
I know it's
5.
empty. I used to live around the corner, but
Yeah. Well, let's see. No, they closed. For a little while, they had used it for like some of their what do you want to call it?
experiments.
No. For like, they used to use the 3rd floor for like drug and rehab,
Oh, cool,
And down below.
Like substance abuse therapy and stuff. That's cool.
All kinds of different things like that. And
So that's where you were born. You remember where your first house was? Where did Grandma and Grandpa live?
over on North 3rd, over by where Vera lives.
North 3rd.
1200 block.
Alright, let's go there. So you said over on 3rd Street you had you and my great-grandpa. Yeah, my great-grandpa. You did what?
We were building with cement blocks.
Yeah.
We were using that. We were building us what was going to be a garage, but for the time being was going to be our home. We were going to live in it until we could tear down everything over on the other side of it and clean all that out, and then we were going to build a house, a regular house, that way. And but after Dwayne and I got married, we ended up losing the property because they put a lien on it because of a loan that Dad had out, and he had been paying on it. And this 1 week, he was supposed to have, I think it was like $50 or $60 in there on the loan. And he had only worked like 3 days because he'd been sick. And he only made, by the time they took the taxes and everything out, he only had $50 to live on.
So he's like short payment. They took it then, huh?
Yeah, and he told me, he said, "I'm sorry, but this is all I've got. I've been sick. I haven't been able to work." And they said, "Fine." They accepted what he gave them, and then they took him to court.
He said, "Yeah, that's no problem because we'll just take the house."
Yeah, really, and it was nothing but a shack in more ways than one.
Yeah, that's all you guys had, and they took it from you, huh? Where'd you go?
Dad, well, by that time, I was married to Lester Ray, and I was with him at his folks' farm over by Wakefield. And Dad and Chet had bought this one property in Culver. And, well, Dad did, but he put in both of their names because they were both living there. And he was living in a little shack there. When you think about it, it's sort of comical now, but at the time it wasn't that comical. But it was a little one-room place, and they had a camper, and they were sleeping in the camper and using the small, I call it the hut.
Yeah, well,
it
sounds like it's what it was, you know.
And then they had, they cooked outside. They had their own little fire thing outside where they could cook, and, Dad had to have his coffee, so.
Yeah, Grandpa was a big coffee drinker?
Oh, 24/7. He'd empty that pot, and he'd have it back on the stove or whatever.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, he had his pot was about yay tall and about
He basically
yay
had a
round.
giant coffee pot. That's hilarious.
Yes, it was an old one because he used it on his wood burning stove.
Oh, yeah, because
and
didn't exactly have burners. It was kind of like a thingy. I know what you're talking about.
And so, but he had to have his coffee. It didn't matter. He could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and have to have a cup of coffee and a cigarette before he could go back to sleep.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
I guess that's where I got my deal of when I woke up during the middle of the night, I had to have my cigarette and my Coke.
Yeah.
I had my Coke. He had his coffee.
I don't know which is healthier. It's debatable.
Yeah, neither, by the way they're going on about it.
Yeah. Has this north end changed a lot, like, since you...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That used to be right there at the corner, right here on the front. And right here, this corner right here, used to be a bar, a bar. But it was also a place you could dance. And that used to be a very good hotel there, but no.
Oh, yeah, it's
right
what's that called, the Flamingo?
Yeah.
Wait, let me turn that.
Another sort of like hotel type thing, but it had cabins that people could live in. And
so right here in this field, there was a hotel?
Here, yeah. There used to be a cabinet.
Wow.
A cabinet, yeah. Cabins. They had little cabins, sort of like a hotel or a motel. And it used to be there, and it used to be in good shape. And
now it's gone, yeah.
Yep, now it's gone.
Just like it was never there.
That place has been here forever. I don't even think anybody lives there anymore, but I'm not sure.
Looks nice.
And then there used to be houses here, but as you can see now...
Yeah, we have like the Section 13 housing.
Section 8 housing.
Yeah.
And...
So did Vera lives down here, I know.
We lived right across the street from each other.
So she's pretty much lived on this street her entire life.
Yep, she did. In fact, where her house is, well, better yet, where her garage is where her and her brothers and sisters used to live with their mom and dad.
Oh, really? It's that big, huge... Oh, I'll have to go to... It's down here, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't know that. So
Yep.
basically, she bulldozed a house and built a garage where it is now?
After her parents died, yeah, more or less. So this hasn't changed. Well, it has, because there used to be homes here. But, okay. Right there where that one is. This one right here.
This one here?
Yeah, 1213. Where the fence and stuff is, that would have been 1215. And this is Vera's house over here.
So this is your friend's house.
Yep.
And
that used to be where she lived.
So that big garage used to be a house.
Yep.
And then the house next to it used to be apparently just like her neighbor then, right?
Yep. And she bought it from her neighbor
Oh.
for, what was it? $25 a month.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
For what, 20 years?
Yeah, but when she started buying it when she was 18, where this fence and stuff is,
Yeah.
that's where Dad and I lived.
This is not even there anymore.
And where the, about where that house is there, it was about half and half, I guess. Because where they put that trailer park thing there, the double wide right there.
Yeah, the red one back there?
This right here used to be about right in there is where our property ended.
So you had a big slot then.
And then on the other side of us there, on the south side of us there, between this house and that other house, used to be where the Brockamans used to live.
The Brockamans.
That was my sister's husband's place. And
So she married the boy next door.
in a sense of the word.
Yeah.
This is the Davis house. Davises have lived here for I don't know how many years. Marion and Maybelle Davis lived here. They had their children. And they lived here. This all down in here, a lot of these houses are new from and over in here. Now, like, there used to be the houses there, but this over in here wasn't there that often. And then, but down in here was where we really called the slums for a lot of reasons, but different ones. But it was something else there. It just, over the years they have built up, tore down old houses and rebuilt. New people have come in, and it's just nicer now. Over here, you never. Oh, sorry. Down here, now like that wasn't all there, right? That's been
So
new.
these houses weren't here.
Now there's the Giles, I think, is where they used to live, and then I'm not sure who that is. I don't think they lived there before. That's sort of new. This is new here, and that one over there.
Oh boy, you can tell too, yeah.
And then over here, there wasn't hardly anything back here. They had gotten where people had started buying up property when they could, and then they would go and, well, as you can see, it's no outlet there. So I'm not sure. I think Shirley.
I might need air in our tire.
Huh?
I think I might need air in my tire.
Oh, okay. I think Shirley and Lonnie live over there, but I'm not positive. Can't swear to it. So that was something.
Yeah, that's so you said that oh here, hold on. So you said that Lester, so Dwayne was your first husband.
Yes.
And you married him like 18, 19?
No, I was 16.
You were 16. Was that legal, or did you have to lie about your age?
No, it was
Is
legal.
all
Dad
right.
paid for it. I mean, he signed so I could.
Oh, your dad did.
Uh-huh.
Grandpa did. So he must have liked Dwayne then.
Well, honey, I
Or he
did.
liked you.
I thought I did. Anyway.
Or Grandpa liked you to sign off on that.
Well, I was spoiled rotten, Josh. What else can I say? Oh, this is okay. They're doing some work there too. This has been pretty much. They've built up over the years with different stuff. Oh, I didn't realize I tore that out. But St. John's here used to have. Well, right down here where this new part is, in here, right over in here, this is a new barracks type thing that they put up.
When you were a kid, the St. John's was here?
Oh, yeah.
And so now, like, St. John's boys are kind of, ooh, like, see, you know, they're like the bad boys. Is that how it was when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah, but they're different. They're a lot different now than they used to be. They were really bad guys, you know, and what have you, so I don't know. But I went to school at a small school there on the corner.
Oh,
And,
is it still there?
No, they knocked it down and built up the barracks there.
All right, let me get some,
I don't know if they've got any air here. They used to have, but I don't know about now. It used to be over there on the other side, but you know what? I'm not seeing anything there.
oh, there's one.
Where?
Oh, yeah, it's still good. Yeah, okay. So, okay, wait. So, we were talking about Dwayne, and we were talking about your school, and so you said your school was over here by St. John's, that military school we passed, but it got knocked down.
Yeah, they knocked it down. It hasn't been there for... let's see. I'm trying to remember the dates here.
Well, we could just say it hasn't been there for a long time.
Yeah, it hasn't been. I went to school there from, I think it was second or third grade to, and I only went to 6th grade, and then you went to where Roosevelt Lincoln was.
Oh, yeah.
And that was for 7th, 8th, and 9th grade.
I see. So, oh, really?
Yeah.
That's kind of unusual.
And I went there for 2 weeks and 2 days in the 9th grade and told them to, and
To shove it, huh? Yeah.
and I thought I knew so much. Oh, excuse me. And then I started working. I just started working in different places.
Where was your first job?
My first job was working for Sam. I can't remember his last name. He's passed. He used to have the... I can't even think what we called it now. But it used to be over here on Santa Fe by the tracks. And it used to be a cafe that he had it going there for all the guys that worked on the trains and this and that. And I started out as a dishwasher, and the cook decided, Sam had a bar a few blocks away, and so when Sam wasn't there, she'd leave me in charge, and I had to, if anybody came in, then I had to take them their coffee, their water, whatever, and then and then they started ordering food, and I'm going, now wait a minute, guys. I'm here alone. Well, that's all right. We know you can do it. So I ended up being the dishwasher, the cook, the waitress, the whole bit. And
so it was around here somewhere then.
It was over on Santa Fe.
Oh, over on Santa Fe.
Yeah. And
that's next
it's
street,
all boarded
right?
up.
Oh, really? We got to go see it.
So, but
The cafe. A cafe on the tracks, huh?
Yeah, more or less. That's what it was there for, is to, you can turn that, you know.
Oh, there goes our DSLR there. There we go, okay.
This all used to be these.
Yeah, I know. They just tore some of them down, right?
Yeah, right. They tore some.
So is this kind of like provided a lot of jobs for the city and stuff?
Yeah, this is where your grandpa used to live.
What are these
right
things?
there in that
Mills, grain
it's
mills?
silos.
Yeah.
Big silos that they had. It was a big thing. This little building right here is where your grandpa used to work.
Really?
Yep.
What did Grandpa do in there?
He was helping with the emptying out the trucks and of the grain and stuff, and just all kinds of good things there. So careful.
I'm just waiting for this guy.
And as you can see, everything's went downhill. But at that time, it didn't look that pretty, but yet it was still clean and.
Yeah,
You know.
and people were working in it at least. You know?
Yeah.
The cafe. So we're on Santa Fe.
Yeah.
It was this way.
Yeah.
So this is Santa Fe.
Yep. Okay, you're gonna turn. He's gonna turn.
Old guy in a white truck, cowboy hat.
Yeah. Okay, just on the other side of where the lights are for the tracks.
Yeah.
That brown building.
Oh, that's a bar now, I think.
No, not here. I mean, not there, but over here, honey.
Oh, across the street
Yeah,
over there.
this one right here.
Oh,
That is where I first started working.
so that was your first job.
That was my first job. And I worked for Sam off and on a couple of years, a few years. And as you can see now, it's, yeah.
Yeah. So the white entrance was where you were working?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And this was a little bar. It has been
It
for
still
years.
is a little bar.
Oh, no, they've really done up there.
Wow.
Let's
Oh,
check
yeah,
it
it's
out.
fancy. Yeah. Used to be called what? Coyotes or something like that?
That used to be, it was always a Mexican place or black. You know, either the,
So it was, on that topic, so you're talking about 50s and 60s now.
yeah.
Like racism was pretty high in America. How did that affect you as a kid? Like, because they desegregated around your time, right?
I really didn't know. I had a lot of colored people that were my friends.
Really?
That I went to school with, yeah.
And so you're saying you were going to school with black kids in the 50s?
More, yeah. Because we had a few that was there in the, I'm trying to think. Well, let me put it this way. I'm not sure about the school thing. I'm thinking that they were there and that I went to school with them. But I had a lot of colored friends, and I never thought anything of it. You know, as kids, we don't really judge unless our folks really do it, you know.
Yeah, unless your folks are like, oh, those whatever.
Yeah, and Dad wasn't like that.
So Grandpa wasn't a racist at all.
No.
That's
Well-
see, because a lot of people call they think of Kansas as like the South, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. It is the South, but it's kind of an unusual part of the South in that, like what you just said, you know.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, we had colored friends that would come over, and Dad and Chet would sit there and they'd yak and drink their beer and what have you, you know. And that's just the way it was. I mean, you know, it's like they say, if your parents don't treat them like crap, then, you know, there's no reason for you to do that.
Right.
I used to work down there at the Bishop Cafe, what used to be Bishop Cafe.
And that was in the train station, right?
Well, it was across the street from the train, yeah. And then at one point in time, I used to live in the house right over here. I was living with I can't think of the name. That's been a long time ago. I was just a kid, and some things had happened, and they decided Dad couldn't take care of me right then and there, so they put me in a foster home. And I mean, don't get me wrong.
So did Grandpa die when you were a kid?
No.
No, he wouldn't have, because
No.
I know Mom talks about him.
He didn't die until 87. He died 5 days before his 84th birthday.
So he wasn't that old, but he wasn't that young either. He's kind of right in the sweet spot, you know?
Well, you know, Dad was like 40 years old, I think it was, when I was born. Dad was born in 1903.
Jeez.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I was born in 1947.
Yeah.
And,
so he would have been 44. No, he would have been 40. That would make him 42, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I was born in 47, so that would have made him 43.
44.
44, yeah.
44, yeah. Wow.
And of course, this used to be the big school here for the church, for St. It's the Catholic diocese now, I guess.
So when you were a kid, the military guys were coming through here.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend I know that was stationed here probably around the year you were born.
Yeah.
My friend John was stationed here. He's in his 90s.
Yeah.
And so the military guys, how would you describe them? If you were out for a night on the town and one of those guys approached you, would you be like, oh, a military boy? Or would you be like, oh no, you're bad news?
This used to be a little school, believe it or not.
Oh, where that park was?
Yep. I went out with the military guys when I was only 12 at the time. And I used to go to the Blue Pacific, which was over there on the corner of Front and I can't think of the name of the stupid street. That's bad on my part. But anyway, I used to go there, and Dad got upset with me, and when he realized where I was at, he came and he had him I thought he had a pistol, but somebody said he had a shotgun on it.
So Grandpa came down with a gun to get you, huh?
Yeah, he got tired of me being down there. He said, you're too damn young to be here, and they weren't going to let him in. And he said, you either let me in or I'm calling the cops because she's not of legal age.
Yeah.
And so when they found that out, you know, so he came in.
They didn't check your ID back then?
Huh?
They didn't check any ID back then?
Well, when I was 12, I looked more like 18, you know, something like that.
Oh, so you were a quick developer, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said, hold on.
Stop.
I'm not gonna hit anybody. I'm paying attention. You said so I have to get this straight. Dwayne was your first. Lester. So right now, you're in the 60s. We're in the 60s. You're married to Lester?
Uh-huh.
That's right?
Yeah. We got married. Well, let me put it this way. I got married when I was 16 to Dwayne. We lived together for approximately 2 years.
What?
And he asked me straight off, 2 months, pardon me, not years, 2 months. And he was going on about, how smart he was and blah, 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 blah. And so we were talking and he said, was saying all this crap. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go see a lawyer. I'm going to find out if all this shit you're spouting is true. Pardon me, Lord, I didn't mean to cuss. But anyway, and so he says, do you want a divorce? And I looked at him and I was thinking about it. And I said, I think I do.
So you were married to Dwayne for 2 months?
Well, we were married for a little longer than that, but we only lived together for about 2 months.
But he was a jerk.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's Tina's dad. That's
Yep.
my Aunt Tina's dad. Right?
Yeah. And so we got divorced in January of 64, and Lester and I got married in March of 64. Sheila was born in August of 64. I said, that's doing something. I got married, I got divorced. Well, I got married, I had a child, got divorced, and got remarried in 1 year.
I'll say. That is funny.
Because at that time, you had to wait for 30 days before you could get married.
Yeah, I heard if you didn't wait, you could get charged with a crime, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
What do they call that? Bigotry? No.
Yeah. Adultery.
Or something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway.
Like,
So, that's...
you'd basically get labeled a whore by the city, or if you were a guy, you'd get labeled like a whore. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, the women were always called whores back then.
Yeah. Okay, so you're married to Lester. Where did you guys live in Salina?
Oh, well, let me see. When we first got married, we lived with his parents out on the farm. And of course, I was pregnant with Sheila. And I will say one thing for his dad. His dad told me, you shouldn't be lifting that, because I would help him in his garden, because he had a big garden. And that's where, well, between him and my dad, that's where I got the appreciation of having, what comes out of the garden. But I'm just not a gardener. Because when I was younger and still with Dad, then he would tell me, he said, Patty, get out of my garden. I said, but Dad, he says, you're leaving the weeds and pulling up the produce. Get out of my garden.
You weren't a very good green thumb, huh?
And so, and I still say to this day, I can't tell the difference. Personally, I cannot tell the difference.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I lived all over this town. I'll tell you what. I've been north, I've been south, I've been east, and I've been west. So it just depends. Lester and I would, after Sheila was born, we lived over on...
So you have, right now in the
Cherry
story, you
Street.
have Tina.
Yep.
And now Sheila's born.
Right.
You have a new husband. And he liked Tina? You took good care of Tina, or no?
Oh, yeah, he did.
That's good.
Until we got divorced. And then he wouldn't have nothing to do with her. Not a thing.
So, Sheila's born.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sheila is born a year after Tina, right? Because they're a year apart.
Yep. Exactly 1 year apart. They got the same birthday.
So you must like going into labor in August, then.
Not particularly. So, I don't know, but...
So now you've got Tina, you're living with Lester, you're out on the farm, life is good. And you and Lester get divorced what year?
Well, no, when we got divorced, that was in 67.
So you're married for 5 years. 6. 3 years.
Something like that, yeah. And once we got divorced, he wouldn't have anything to do with Tina anymore. It was like, I don't know you. Who are you? And that really, really hurt Tina, because he was the only dad she knew.
Yeah, that makes sense, because she was...
And,
So now, it's 67. My mom came along in 68.
right?
Right.
She was my surprise baby. You see right in here, there's the bar is still there. But on the other side of the bar was the Bishop Station Cafe.
Oh, so I always thought you worked in that big building.
No, that's
the depot.
That's the depot, yeah.
Okay, let's go back. I want to see. It's like so windy. They're just like sandblasting my car.
Yeah,
Hear that?
I know.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So you said this big building behind this car is the
Yeah.
one.
The
Oh,
one,
it says even Bishop Tavern on it.
yes. And right next to it is where we had our the station cafe.
Oh, where the Adams boys are?
Yeah.
Interesting. Was it the whole thing or just that little
No,
one?
just that one part
Cool.
there. They took part of what used to be the cafe, and they took part of it off and built this place over here bigger. That used to be a bar. Honey, you've got to get out of the middle of the street.
I was just watching to see if they're gonna go around. Okay. All right, I'm gonna this way.
Okay. And when Tina and Lisa and I, when Sheila wasn't with us, this used to be the first the mission for the men.
Oh, this building right here was the first mission?
Yeah.
Wow. It looks delightfully, no, not delightfully small. It looks tiny.
But it isn't. It goes clear back. It had rooms in it, you know, and they had a kitchen and the whole.
So did you feed the mission guys that come over for cafe?
Yeah, if they came over and they had money.
Yeah, no, it's not a handout, yeah.
And then right down here, let me see. That's not that one. I'm trying to think which one it is. I think it's, yeah, the second house right there.
This one?
Yeah, that one right there, 304,
Yeah.
is where we lived before Tina got married.
So now Tina's all grown up. Wait, so you guys lived there for a while.
Yep.
That looks like a nice place.
That's where we lived when Tina got married to Raymond in 79.
As my mom puts it when she left her.
Yeah.
So what was it like having 3 girls? So now you're single with 3 girls, right?
Yeah.
Grandpa is still alive because you say he died in '87.
Right.
And
It was hard. I mean, I was still a kid in more ways than one, but yet I loved my kids. Tried to make sure that they were taken care of. And it's like I said, if it hadn't been for my mom and my dad at that time, I don't know what I would have done.
what was your mom like?
I loved my mom dearly, but yet again, I couldn't stand her. She was.
I know the feeling.
Well,
Sounds just like my mom. Are you saying in a different way?
yes, a big different way. Mama was heavy. You know, she was fat too, just like all of us are. And, but, you know, I mean, I can remember her telling me where she used to work at the hen place that we had here for a while and some different places like that. But for all the time that I can remember, I never seen her work, never once. And when Mom and Dad got divorced, they'd been married for 4 years. And when Mom and Dad got divorced, then Mom took Vicky and Dad took me. And even though I knew my sister and we were close, but we still didn't get to do that much, you know, as sisters.
What year do you remember what year that happened? 60s?
Well, no, when Dad and Mom got divorced, it was in 51.
So you're just a little girl.
Yeah, I was only 4 years old. And Vicky would have been 7. like I said, right here's another place that used to be a small school here.
Yeah, this.
Oh, that's the same one, yeah.
That's the same one. Phillips
Okay.
Park, yeah. So,
All right.
so where did Vicky move to? Because I thought Vicky lives like on the west coast of California or something, right?
Well, only after she got married. and
Oh.
moved. But no, we were all here in town. Mom and Vicky lived, oh gosh, so many different places. Mom used to live over on Bishop and, I mean, not Bishop. I'm terrible about names.
So like, well, that's okay.
She lived north, where we lived a lot.
Yeah.
There was never too far away. You know, we were all here in town, and I'll never forget. I was about 10 or 11, and so that would have made. All right, we'll say 10. So that would have made Vicky about 13, and it was snowing, and snow and ice, and Dad had been teaching me to drive.
So you were how old when you were driving?
I was, Dad started me out. He had this old pickup, and he started me out first sitting on his lap, and then he got me so that I was comfortable doing the steering wheel. And then he was teaching me about the foot feed and the brake and the clutch, you know, and all this. And then from there, you know, then eventually he started letting me to drive, you know, out on the back roads and this and that. And so by that time I was driving pretty good. And Vicky Dad was teaching Vicky too, because Dad thought the world and all of Vicky. He just really, you know, even though they got divorced, it didn't matter, because that was still, you know, he still considered her his daughter. And so, he loved her like she was his daughter too.
So would you say Vicky was the favorite?
No.
You were the favorite?
They're really, you know, I mean, really, there wasn't really that much for favoritism and all that. But, I don't know. We got along pretty good. But this one time, it had been snowing and there was ice on the road besides the snow, you know, and the two of us were out driving. Vicky had gotten Jesse's car while he was still in the service, and so no, you know, I would have had to been a little bit older than that, because I think Vicky was like, well, yeah, I'd said about 13, yeah. And I was about 10, I think. So, anyway, I could drive, and Vicky was doing okay, but she skidded and went over into this yard. And there was a big old rock there, and she hit on it. And she couldn't get it to move.
So Vicky got the car stuck on a rock in the snow.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't her car.
Yeah.
So she's in deep trouble now. So what happened?
Well, she would have been if Jess would have been there. He would have skinned her alive, probably. But anyway, I told her, I said, well, let me drive. Let me see if I can get it out. And seeing as how she was a little older, I knew she'd get in more trouble than I would. And so I tried to talk her into letting me take the blame. And she said, no, Patty, it's my fault, so I got to pay the consequences, you know. So she ended up having to go to a probation officer for a while.
Oh no.
She was put on probation. And I tried. Let me just, no.
Wow.
So
did she get like a felony or something?
I'm not real sure what they called it at that time, but they just said that, you know, it wouldn't have been so bad except that we hit a fence and went over the fence.
Yeah.
And, you know, and all that good stuff.
And you guys weren't old enough to drive anyway.
Right. And so, you know, it was funny.
Yeah, too good. Well, I'm sure it wasn't funny then, but it's funny now.
Well, we were laughing about it, but yet, oh, we're going to be killed, you know.
Yeah.
And so, it was just one of those times.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that. I mean, I never really see any of those people, so I never really think of them as like your brother and sister. But you had Vicky on one side, and you had and
Jesse on
Jesse
the
was her older brother.
Yeah, and there was Anna Marie, which was next to Jess, and then there was Betty. But Betty was the one who got killed. That was Sue's mom, and her sister was killed, and her nephew.
Oh,
was
by
killed.
by her husband, right?
Yeah.
He shot them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Sue and
So Betty was your sister?
If Sue and Christine would have been, you know, he had called him or something, and if they'd went home when he asked them to come, they would have been dead. But they're the ones who found them.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that, because I was going to work and I heard on the radio about this thing about in Assyria, which is where they were living at that time. And I said, oh Lord, I can remember saying, oh Lord, please don't let it have anything to do with Betty and the kids. I got to work. I was at work for maybe 10 minutes, and Tina called me. Mama. I said, what, honey? She said, Mama, you gotta come home. Aunt Betty's been killed. I said, what? And once I realized, oh Lord, that was them, you know. And, oh, you talk about upset. I was very, very, very
So
upset.
Betty was your sister then?
Yes, she was right above Vicky. I never knew Anna Marie. Vicky and I never knew Anna Marie until later years. And I didn't want nothing to do with her, neither did Vicky, because she ignored us, and she did not have anything to do with us. The one person that she would have anything to do with was my grandma, Mama's mother.
Oh, she's just a prissy little girl? Is that what it was?
Well, she went to live with, oh God, I can't remember their name. When she was about 16 or 17, she went to live with these people. One of the ladies was a sister to a counselor there at the junior high, and she always considered herself above us.
Oh.
She was better than we were, you know. She didn't want nothing to do with those lowlifes, you know.
Car stealing street youths.
Yeah, whatever. She wasn't around when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
But she was just a high-tootin' ta-ta-ta.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And yet, all she did for a living, she was a bank clerk. Cashier.
Oh, tell her, yeah.
Yeah. And she had 5 kids, the same as Betty. Betty had 4 girls and a boy. She had 4 boys and a girl.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, and but the only one she ever had anything to do with was Grandma.
So wait, Betty had 4 girls and a boy.
Yep.
So you got Sue and Chris.
Mike, Kathy, And Amy. Amy's the one that was killed.
Amy was killed with Betty, and Kathy was killed with Betty?
No. Chris's son died with Betty and Chris. I mean, with Betty and Amy.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize Chris was that old when it happened.
Yes. She had a son.
Is Chris older than Sue?
No, she's next to youngest. We're going. You shouldn't have parked there.
She wants to direct traffic.
No, see, it was... Let's see, it was Cassie, Mike, Sue, Chris, and Amy. Amy was the baby of the family.
So Amy's the one that got killed.
Yes.
I see.
And then it was Chris's little boy.
And
I'm sorry, Lord, but I can't remember his name right now.
So these are full-blooded siblings?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I always thought Jesse was your half-brother.
He is my half-brother.
Oh.
So was Betty, and so was Anna Marie. Well, and since it worked, so was Vicky. Because Jess, Anna Marie, and Betty, all three had the same father.
They all had the same... Oh, but you guys shared a mom is what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And to this day, I don't know who Vicky's father was. I don't even think she knows. But she was very upset with Mom over some things. So I'm not sure what all that was, you know. But I don't know. It's just something else.
Yeah, that's it. All of that, I've never heard that before. It's really interesting.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I never said the half-brother, half-sister crap.
Yeah.
Except for Anna Marie.
Yeah, you're like, well, she's... yeah.
So, but, I love Betty. I love Betty, and I love Jess, and I love Vicky. Anna Marie, I didn't know, so how was I supposed to know her? And
how old was my mom when that happened? Like, what year do you think? 80s? Before or after Grandpa died?
Oh, no. That happened before your grandpa died.
So it must have been before 87. Whoops.
All three girls were alive then. That was in... What year was that? So, and she was born...
So Sue was probably like 16? Well, no, because Chris had kids.
No, because Sue had graduated school.
So maybe in her 20s at this point.
I'm trying to think what age, you know.
Yeah. And so if Sue graduated school and Chris was old enough to have kids.
And Amy had just graduated school.
So she must have been like 25.
So she was, Amy had just graduated, and I think she was 18. Okay, let me see here. Kathy was born in... I was born in 47. Kathy was born in... Oh, you're really making my mind work.
That's okay. I was just wondering if you can't think of it. That's all right. But it's terrible that was something like that would happen. I mean,
yeah.
And so her husband's name was. Do you remember? I don't even know. Betty's husband.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of his name right now.
Did you think of him as that kind of person that would just lose it and start shooting?
But I didn't know him.
Oh.
I mean, they'd got married, supposedly, we'll say.
Yeah. You saying that because maybe it wasn't like a legit marriage, or
right? Because he was still married to his other wife that was in
Winter,
California, or something.
Winter.
Like you know.
So you think he double married?
Oh yeah, he did. He did. And so,
there's a Mercedes behind us that really wants to go. So I was like, difficult sometimes, like to think of these things.
All right, Jess was born in 29. Anna Marie was born in 31. Betty was born in 33. And then Vicky was born in 44. So see, there was almost 11 years difference between Betty and Vicky. And then, of course, I was born in 47.
So you were the youngest then?
Yes, I was. And so, I
think I turned right. This wasn't right. I wasn't supposed to turn there.
Next one, I think.
There's like 11-year difference.
Yeah, between Betty and Vicky. And then, like I said, there was 3 years between me and Vicky. And, all right, mine, come on. You're trying to go blank on me again.
So if there was that big difference, basically, because we were trying to derive how old Betty was, or how old Sue was when this happened, and how old my mom was. So what's the difference? When do you know when Betty had Sue?
Yeah, she was born in 55.
Sue was born in 55. Oh wait,
right?
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, she's like. So Sue isn't that much younger than you.
No, she's only 8 years younger than I am.
Oh, geez, I guess I didn't realize that.
There's 8 years difference between me and Sue. And I was trying to remember if
so if Amy had just graduated and Sue...
Yeah, she had just graduated.
And Sue is what, like 6-7 years older than Amy? Oh, this is easy. Okay. Betty got killed and you were how old?
Good question.
Where were you working?
I was working out at the truck stop at that time.
So you were, what, 30? 20? 25?
In the car.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you want to get some lunch, Grandma? You hungry? You want a sandwich?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get a sandwich. We've been sent with the shopping list, so we have to do that. I think my tires are all right, but I'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wait until later to do it. then there will be less people.
Not necessarily.
Like at noon, this place is bound to be packed. We'll see how busy they are when we get there.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're on the timeline now. Lester was your husband. You got divorced in 77 or something.
No.
No. 72, 73.
No. Let me think. We got married when I was 16 still. So that would have been in 63, the same year Tina was born. And
Wait, so you got married twice when you were 16?
Yes. You missed that part.
No, I understood, but I just had thought you were with Dwayne longer than you were.
Yeah.
So basically, it's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was in 67 that Lester and I got divorced. And then in 68 I ended up surprised because I went in to have gallbladder surgery because it was acting up on me, and that's when I found out that I was pregnant with Lisa. And I've always said she was my surprise baby because I hadn't planned on having any more children.
Yeah, but the best one, though, you know.
And so that was in 68, and of September they said that they were going to induce because I'd went over my timeline to have her, and I was in the hospital in Topeka when I had her there.
Why did you go to Topeka?
I was living there and just working, and I had a couple of men that were customers of ours. I was working at a cafe part bowling alley, and some of my regular guys that I took care of there, in the cafe when they came in. And the one, I had told them that I was pregnant, and I'd, be gone for a little while, and they said, "You aren't pregnant." I said, "Yes, I am." "No, you're not." I said, "Yes, I am." "Well, you don't look pregnant." And I said, "Well,
Classic.
I'm sorry, but I am." "No, I don't believe you." I said, "Okay, well, I'll tell you what." I said, "As soon as I have the baby, I'll be sure and bring her in when I know you're going to be here so that I can prove to you that I was pregnant." And so that's what I did. And they says, "Oh my God, she's right. She was pregnant." And then they looked at Lisa and they said, "Oh, she's a pretty girl." I said, "Of course she is. She's mine." And
So Tina and Sheila were with you in Topeka?
no, Lisa, Tina was, but Sheila. Well, no, Sheila was there with me too. Sheila lived with us for 5 years, and then she had gotten on my nerves so badly that I was worried about hurting her.
Yeah, I worry about
so-
hurting her even now,
And so I had been going to mental health and talking with the counselor about it and trying to get the feelings out, before anything would happen. And just one night, I couldn't take no more, and I called her at home, which is very unusual. They don't do that now. But I had called her at home, and I was crying. I was so upset. And so she told me to call Lester and see if he wanted her, and if he did, then he'd have to take her that night.
So Sheila was just kind of a rambunctious kid, is that what it was?
She was just...
Or a troublemaker? Or both?
She wanted her daddy. She thought everything would be better with her daddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then later, you know, we were talking, and she told me about how her brothers had raped her.
Brothers being whom?
Mary's sons. Lester's
okay.
wife.
Yeah.
And so, and I just told her, I said, "You've got a mouth, why didn't you use it?" Well, I said, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. Even now, people, you know,
Yeah.
they go so long without saying anything just because they're scared that they'll be called a liar or rejected. And
Yeah. Well, come on, Car. What's your problem here?
I'm gonna pause it right when. Okay, just a second.
Hi, sweetheart. Thanks for everything. See you later.
Bye, Grandma. It was fun hanging out with you today.
Okay. Me too.
Bye. Love you.
Love you.